Collection operations. There are different ways the collections operations team they use to collect the debt. First, you have a statement message. So just on the statement, there's a message telling the customer, oh, you need to make the amount due, and what's the consequence if you fail to make the payment. So there will be instant charge, report to credit agency, and potentially lose your credit privilege, right? So that's a very low cost. That's really, you need to send statement anyway, so there's literally no additional cost. But also, a lot of customers, they do not read statements, right? So it's also the least effective. Okay, so phone call is the main tactic collections use. Make a phone call, so remind customer that you need to really pay the amount due. So that's the reason most collection operations are set up in a call center environment. Most of the collections are done through the phone call. Letter. In some cases, you can just simply send out a letter, especially for the early stage delinquent accounts. The customer just needs a reminder. Some customers, they think the phone call is a little bit too invasive, right? So if you send a letter with a softer tone, when they receive the letter, they will pay, okay? So once the account becomes in late stage, it's more seriously delinquent, so the tone of the letter could be harsher, right? So you really need to pay this off. So you're already being reported to credit bureau that impact your credit rating. So you will lose your credit privilege, or you already have lost it. So things like that. So letters, another main tool. In recent years, with the popularity of smartphones, right? So text message is also getting popular. Actually, consumers, they perceive this is a less invasive method, right? But also you can reach customers more effectively, because people might not be taking their calls, right? So when they are working, or there's a lot of spam calls, they simply do not pick up the call if it's a phone number they do not recognize. Some people may not check their mails very often, but they do check their text message. Okay, and email. Email is another preferred way by a lot of consumers. It's also low cost, right? So to the lenders for both text message and email. So these two are gaining popularities. Skip tracing. For some reason, account cannot be reached by the phone number, right? So it could be the phone is not working anymore, or it could be the customer has moved, so change the phone number. In that case, then collector needs to manually work on those accounts. This is called skip tracing, trying to find where the customers are. There are certain tools provided by vendor. They can do the search by name, date of birth, trying to locate where the consumers are. Settlement. This typically applies to late stage. If we know that the customer has no capability to pay 100% of the debt, so, and you know that as a whole, the customer probably can only make the best and makes 50% payment. So why don't you collect those 50% right now, right? So you could make an offer to the consumer. If you pay me 60% of the debt, then let's call it a good deal for both of us. So then you don't need to pay the rest 40%. You are off the hook, right? And also I can avoid bad debt. So as a lender, so it's beneficial to both sides. So if the customer doesn't have the 60%, you can try the 50%, right? So that's a settlement. Then there's a legal collection. So this is really typically applied to a large balance. So you can tell the customer that if you still face to catch up with payments, so I might resort to the lawyers, right, to sue you. So that could bring up some additional payment. But again, that legal collection has to follow through. You cannot be an empty threat. If the customer still doesn't pay that, you have to follow through. So through internal lawyers or very often external lawyer who specializes in this type of consumer debt collection will be engaged. So these are the different tactics used by collection operations.